How are you?
Sir, you gonna make it happen for this community? Sir, you gonna make it happen for this community?
That's right.
You gonna make it happen for this
I know. That's a big point.
Excuse us, guys. Excuse us. I'm so sorry.
Governor, how important? Governor, how important was it for you to be here, Governor?
Excuse us. Sorry.
We are already working on ways to help, so stay tuned. We're going to be able to have some announcements very soon, not just to help the councilwoman, but also Edward Waters College. You know, I'm really concerned if some of these guys think we can target HBCUs. That's unacceptable. So we're going to make sure the security, they have security of what will they need. We already have additional law enforcement from the state that are helping out today. They're going to be doing a run through tomorrow to see any type of lapses in security about what could be done. But it just needs to be very clear to anybody out there who's thinking about indulging in this type of hatred. You know, we are not going to take it standing down. We are going to fight back against you. And if you try to show up at an HBCU to target people based on their race, you are not going to be successful. You are going to be met with a lot of firepower. We are not going to let evil triumph over good. We're not going to let Satan triumph over the devil. And for this guy to put on this tactical gear and drive from another county to come to this community to try to kill people because they're a different race than him, you know, that is a coward. That is something that is totally pathetic, and we're just not going to stand for it. And you know, it really shows a sickness to see that somebody would go through that to do what he did. So I think the state of Florida, from the government and all the officials, but all the people in the state of Florida, you know, we're united with this community. This is not going to be something that you know, we're going to just lie down for. We're going to fight back, and this has no place in the state of Florida.
Thank you, Governor.
I want to start with what I began the program with, which is this racist shooter killing 3 black people in Jacksonville yesterday. What is your reaction to the shooting?
It is such a tragedy, and my heart goes out to those families. This should not be happening in the United States of America, and it is wrong. The reality is we have a mental health epidemic in this country. There are reports that this particular individual, the perpetrator, was indeed evaluated for mental health deficiencies as well. And I think we need to have the courage in this country to bring back a practice of putting back psychiatrically ill people who pose a risk to their communities into psychiatric institutions, not just drugging them up, but faith-based approaches and other approaches that fill our longing for purpose and meaning in this country. I think it is just a shame that we even have mass shootings like this, be it the one that happened in Florida, be it the recent one, the Nashville shooter in a Christian school, killing 6 in a school. We have to address that mental health epidemic, and we need leaders with the courage to do it. But my heart goes out to those families, and I hope something like this never happens again.
We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people.
Okay, listen, y'all. Let me tell you, we finna put parties aside, cause it ain't about parties today. A bullet don't know a party, so don't get me started.
Mental health is one aspect of these shootings, and apparently, and we're still learning a lot about what happened. The facts are still coming out. Also, this was very much apparently racially motivated. The sheriff there said point blank that this shooter had manifestos coming, 3 manifestos, and said specifically that he went to this dollar store with the intent of killing black people.
I think that is heinous and deserves to be called out for what it is. The reality is we've created such a racialized culture in this country in the last several years that right as the last few burning embers of racism were burning out, we have a culture in this country largely created by media and establishment and universities and politicians that throw kerosene on that racism. And I can think of no better way to fuel racism in this country than to take something away from other people on the basis of their skin color.
Before I get into those details, I would like to say a few additional words about what happened in Jacksonville yesterday. Florida, the state, and its people condemn the horrific racially motivated murders perpetrated by a deranged scumbag in Jacksonville at the Dollar General store. Perpetrating violence of this kind is unacceptable, and targeting people due to their race has no place in the state of Florida. Casey and I extend condolences to the victims and their families on behalf of the entire state of Florida. I've spoken with Jacksonville Mayor Deegan, Sheriff Waters, and President Faison from Edward Waters College. We will work with Dr. Faison to ensure the college has adequate security, just like we've done when our Jewish day schools have been receiving threats. We're not going to allow in the state of Florida our HBCUs to be targets for hateful lunatics like the guy yesterday.
I think there are more race-based violent crimes on the right than on the left. Why is this a lot more pervasive on the right?
Well, the fact of the matter is, I think that there's a lot more violence that's also pervasive in parts of the country that supposedly are left-wing voter bases. So I don't think this is a left versus right issue, and I don't think we should try to politicize this through partisan goggles either, Chuck, especially in the wake of a tragedy like this one. The fact is there are more black men dying on the south side of Chicago.
Do you ignore the elements that allowed this manifesto to spread online, and that it does feel as if social media connects some of these hateful ideologies?
Well, the fact of the matter is I do think we have two standards that we're even applying if we're having a conversation about manifestos. We still have not yet even seen the manifesto of that transgender shooter in Nashville of a Christian school, and yet here we're focusing on the motive. So if we want to look at this through a politicized lens, let's look at what the political media and the political establishment is doing differentially in how they analyze different crimes and then create a new narrative around it.